Okay, so faithfulness is long obedience in the same direction. All right, let's start. Let's pray, and then we'll jump in. God, thanks for these women and Matt B. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for what is coming in 2024. Thank you for giving us diligence and discipline and just faithfulness. God, would you honor this time? Let everything that we say and do point everybody to the cross. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay. I wonder if God listens to my prayers on speeded up mode. Maybe not, because I already talked so fast, but listen, what I want to talk about today is objections. So Michelle put all of you guys into activity last week where y'all did reach outs for an hour, just kind of started those, or not an hour, 45 minutes, started those conversations. And what I want to talk today about is objections. Now, as new people, you guys are either growing to gold or trying to grow people to gold. Just know objections is usually when the first mindset battles start to set in. People don't generally struggle with belief and doubt and skepticism when people that they're reaching out to say yes, yes, and yes, right? It's usually when someone says, no, I'm not doing that. Why would I do that? That's a this thing, or that's a that thing, or I'm already healthy, or those don't work for me, or whatever. It's when someone starts to plant a seed of doubt with an objection that people start to go, oh, okay, maybe this, maybe that, maybe the other thing. So what I think we have to do is embrace objections. We have to prime our people to know objections are totally normal. They're to be expected. I would be more concerned if someone didn't have any objections. If someone came to me and said, Christina, I would like for you to show me how to make $20,000 a month. I'm ready to go. I have no questions. I'd be going, really? You have no questions? And I'll ask people, what do you think might hold you back here? And I'll ask them that for the products or the business. What do you think might hold you back here? And I do that to normalize limiting beliefs. What might hold you back here health-wise? Well, this is the 13th program you've tried this year. There might be something we need to talk about. There might be some limiting belief that's keeping you from seeing something through. And I want to go ahead and welcome it and invite it. Same thing with the business. Michelle, what do you think might hold you back here? Well, I've got 3 girls and I've got a husband who's super big. I want to go ahead and invite her to share with me what might be a potential hurdle. And I'm doing that so that I can offer a counter perspective. I can tell a story and say, oh, listen, I know that feels like a big deal, but let me tell you about my friend who had the same situation. Here's how she manages it. So I'm looking to offer a counter perspective and give them hope. So the good news when it comes to objections is they never change. You have the same product objections and you have the same business objections. And what that means is you just have to get good at the skill set of handling them for products and get good at the skill set of handling them for business. Listen to me. If you can sell Plexus products, you can sell the business opportunity. Period. End of discussion. So what I always see when I ask people, what's your challenge right now in your business? I can't find people to do this with me. I can't find people to do this with me. Yes, you can. You just have to learn the skill. If you can sell products, you can sell the business. Okay. So the product objections that you're going to always see, can't afford it. I'm already healthy. What are some other ones you guys come across? You can type them in the chat or unmute. When it comes to product objections, what do people generally tell you? Nobody gets any objections? Are y'all inviting people to take a look at the products? Do these products actually work? Yep. Don't know if they'll work for them. They've tried something else. How many of you get the objection? I've tried that before. I've tried that before and it didn't work for me. Anybody get that one? Tried it before. Okay. So the good news is most of the time, these are going to be the general objections that you get. And so you can get good at addressing them. Now, kind of top level leadership development here, addressing an objection is not overcoming it. Can we just agree with that for a second? Addressing it would be saying, I understand that you feel that way. It's even saying, I understand that you feel that way. I felt the same way too. What I found was this. That's feel, felt, found. And that's a really good way to begin overcoming. But if what you're doing when somebody says, hey, I can't afford that, if what you say is, listen, I understand how you feel. I felt the same way too. What I found is I could cut out $3 a day at the grocery store. But when you're ready, let me know. What you're doing when you do that is you are agreeing with their objection. Okay. Let me tell you a phrase I want you to delete from your vocabulary. I understand. I understand. We do not understand objections. When somebody says, I can't afford it, we don't say, I understand that, because it's not true, you guys, generally speaking. Now, you're going to have outliers like grannies on Social Security, or like you're going to have outliers. But for the most part, when someone says, I can't afford that, what they're saying is, I don't value that enough yet. Because the same ones that can't afford it later are going to be posting their selfies with their $9 Starbucks drink, or their Christmas cute glitter nails, or whatever people do that, I don't know. But they're going to be posting that. They're going to be at the movies with their friends. They're going to be at the bar. They're going to be doing whatever they're doing. They can't afford it most of the time. It's that they don't value it enough yet. So when you say, I understand, what you're doing is telling them, you're right. You're right. I don't either. So here, what do we do when somebody says, I can't afford it? Well, first of all, check where in the process you're exposing the cost. If you're giving the cost away before building the value of the product, this is probably your problem. If someone comes in and says, hey, I'd like to lose 10 pounds, you say, cool, I've got triplex balance. It's going to run you $160 a month. You ready to go? They're probably thinking $160 a month to lose 5 pounds. Like, I don't know that I really value that. This is why we train you guys when they say, hey, I want to lose some weight. You say, okay, perfect. How much weight would you like to lose? What have you tried before? Besides, this is the best sentence, besides blank, whatever they told you their goal was, besides blank, what else keeps you from feeling your best? Let's talk about your energy. Let's talk about your sleep. Let's talk about your mood. How are those 3 things? So do you see how I took their little narrow focus of what Plexus can help with, weight loss, where it maybe feels like $160 a month for this little bitty weight loss problem, doesn't feel worth it. But now we've tacked on the fact that I'm emotionally unstable. I cannot sleep. I run to the bathroom every single time I eat something. I all of a sudden now what I'm getting for 160 is so much bigger than 5 pounds. So you have to widen the value of the product. I do all of this, including sending a resource like a triplex video, a testimonial of the compound effect of using our products for 6 months or a year. I do all of this long before I ever tell them the cost of anything. Now, some of you are thinking, okay, Christina, but sometimes they ask. Like sometimes they say, hey, I'm interested, but how much is it? And what you do is you give the reins of your business to them. And you say, okay, well, this is my flow, but because they want to know now, I'll speed this up, skip that, give them the price, move on. No. Somebody says, Christina, hey, I'm interested in your products. Tell me how much it costs. What I will say is, Matt B, I would love to share the cost with you, but in order for me to do that, I need to figure out which product regimen is going to help you with what's bothering you the most. So tell me, what is it that keeps you from feeling your best every day? I take and keep control of the conversation. I see a lot of hands ferociously writing, so I'll pause a second. And I do that with every single objection. Okay, so here's how you check for overcoming. When someone says, I can't afford that, even if I've done everything right, I've built the value, I've cast, like I've done it all. And someone says, I really do need these products. I really do need them. Let me wait until January, Christmas, like I can't afford it, or, after taxes or whatever. I'll say, Michelle, I hear what you're saying. Like as a former school teacher, I know exactly what it was like to live on a fixed income. I get it. Matter of fact, when I started these products, I almost hoped that they didn't work so that I wouldn't have to budget for it every month. But what I found was I was already wasting $3 or $4 a day with my Diet Coke stops, with the vending machine, with the run through the drive-through. What I found, so I understand how you feel. I felt that same way. What I found is if I cut out one Chick-fil-A meal for my family in my convenience store stops, I actually saved money by investing in my health. Are there areas in your budget that we could figure out how to streamline so that you could stop wasting and start investing in your health? And then I just stop talking. And some of the time they'll say, you know what, you're right. Like, I do buy a Red Bull a day, and that's like $3.50. Like, I would have to make some changes, but I totally could. I also always bring up the business opportunity when somebody says they can't afford it. But first, I try to handle it with the value of the products. Okay. So I always go that route instead of saying, oh, if you can't afford it, that's exactly why you should be building a business. We can't get them to build a business until they have valued the products. We got to get them to where they would even consider making an investment before we say, hey, listen, and now that you think you might can shave $3 or $4 a day, did you know there's actually a way for you to be able to avoid having to budget? This is a budget. This is a solution. I like it. We can do that to start. But did you know there was a way for you to be able to avoid budgeting in the future? I've helped so many people cover the cost of their products and beyond with our referral program. Love to help you figure that out once we get you signed up. So then I'm back to mission at hand. Let's get them enrolled. Okay, when someone says, I've tried Plexus before. This is one that I hear most often from my new people. She'll say, maybe it's because we're in the same town, but Sheena will say, hey, I reached out to so-and-so. She said she's tried the products before. I just told her, thanks, let me know, whatever. Here's what I say when someone says, I've tried Plexus before and it didn't work for me. I'll say, hey, Michelle, thank you for getting back to me. I'm so intrigued by the fact that you didn't get the results you were looking for last time. So I use that language because I'm almost baffled, like, interesting. That's not common. I'm so intrigued that you didn't get the results you were looking for last time. Let's chat about that a little bit. I'm curious, which products did you start with? And what were you hoping to notice that you didn't? Just that easy. And a lot of the times they'll say, well, it was a long time ago. Like I did the pink drink and the accelerator, or I did whatever they did. I wanted it to help me with this, but here's what it did instead. I'll listen and say, okay, interesting. How long ago did you try it? And how long were you 100% consistent with it? So that's the follow-up. I don't ask all that at one time. I ask those first two questions and then these two questions. And this is when it usually gets good. Well, it was 9 years ago and I tried it for, a week and a half or whatever. I hit some detox and, they won't say detox, but they'll say, well, I just started having this trouble and that trouble and I didn't really know what to do. And they probably didn't have the support they needed because they joined someone who was new or whatever. So I'll listen and I'll say, oh, Michelle, girl, I get why you are skeptical of trying this again. I totally get it. Like if that were my experience, I would be skeptical too. But let me tell you what has changed. We have reformulated products. We have brand new products. We've learned so much. And as a team, we have really taken it upon ourselves to get good at helping people get the results they're after. I'm curious, are you still struggling with the same things you were back then? Because I really believe I'm positioned in a way that I can help you overcome that. Would you trust me enough to try again? And then I'll just go back to and when they say, if they show any openness, I'll go back to okay, forget that. Tell me what your health goals are now. And I will take them back through the exact same recruiting process I would someone totally new. I don't assume they know or remember anything from back then. All right, let me look at the chat. Tried it before, need to get results first. Do these products actually work? Okay, so when someone says, hey, I'm curious, but I just feel like there's no way that these products can do what all people are saying they can do. Like I've tried everything. Nothing works for me. No, that's what they'll say. Nothing. I must be the anomaly because nothing ever works for me. I'll say, Michelle, I get it. You sound frustrated. Like you obviously have been trying to improve your health for some time and it takes a toll. And I totally get it. Here's the thing though. Our products are backed by science and rooted in science, and science works for everyone. That's what makes it science. Now, you might not have gotten the results you were hoping first, and I would love to explain to you why that is. So our bodies prioritize healing in the order of what's most important. And sometimes the areas that are most important, they're internal. And as much as we want to lose that stubborn weight, like it's annoying, it's frustrating, it's not always the most important. Sometimes what's the most important is cellular inflammation. Sometimes what's the most important is cholesterol or high blood pressure, whatever. So you're going to teach them why them not getting the exact result they were looking for doesn't mean that the products weren't working somewhere else. It just might mean, it'd be like saying walking on the treadmill, it's not a good exercise. Walking's not a good exercise because I'm not getting biceps and quads. Walking, and it's not good. Is that actually true? No. Walking is good for cardiovascular health. Walking is good for endurance. Like there are things it is good for. Sometimes we have to get that up. Go try to do some fitness, bodybuilding class without being able to walk a mile first. Like it wouldn't really work. Healing starts gradually. And sometimes they just need to be taught that. So how do you know if you've overcome versus addressed the objection? You ask. Here's what they're believing. Here's a counter perspective I'm going to offer to challenge this belief lovingly. If this weren't true and this were true, how do you feel about that now? You can't afford it. I'm telling you, we could shave off some of your daily runs at the convenience store. We can shave off a Chick-fil-A family meal. Like if this were now this, how does that make you feel about this investment in your health? And I stopped talking. So you check for overcoming. If you've overcame an objection, they're ready to do what you were hoping they were going to do initially. If they're still making the same decision they were going to make, you have not overcome the objection. And listen, no one is perfect at this. I don't have 100% overcome rate, neither does Michelle. Like there are going to be some objections that still require massive amounts of follow-up, still have to follow up a million times. Eventually we'll overcome it. If you follow up, eventually the value will be higher than their excuse, eventually. But if you're having no success overcoming objections and you back off as soon as someone says something other than yes, please, just know you're going to have to lean in. You're going to have to lean in just a little bit, not like aggressively all up in their personal bubble trying to make out with them, but lean in because that shows confidence. It shows that you believe in what you're saying. If my house were on fire, it's almost time for questions. If my house were on fire and someone came and knocked on my door and said, Christina, your house is on fire. Like I see some smoke. I think there could be some things going on. I know because my house was on fire once and you've got similar symptoms of my house fire and my house burned to the ground. I thought I would tell you. And I were like, yeah, I have smoke detectors or whatever they're called, whatever. I have those. They're not going off. So I'm good. Do you think if I actually saw flames and smoke, I would say, okay, like there, she's saying it's not on fire. I'll just go back across the street and watch it burn. No, I would be a little more persistent. I would say, hey, actually me too. Like my house had smoke detectors too, but the fire was in the attic and it actually took the time it took for me to get the fire to detect whatever. I suck at analogies. What I'm saying is if my house was on fire, Michelle wouldn't say, okay, she said it's not. She said she can't be inconvenienced right now to leave because her house is on fire. Michelle would say, Christina, no, really, your house is on fire. Like, what if the smoke detectors were malfunctioning? Like, I'm believing I have smoke detectors and I'm safe. Michelle is giving me a counter perspective. Like, what if your smoke detectors are malfunctioning? What if they're out of batteries? Like, here's something new I could believe. And then she says, what are your thoughts now? If I leave the house with her, she has overcome my objection of I'm cooking and can't leave. If I say, thanks for letting me know, I'll let you know if I need your help with fire, I'm going to go back to cooking, I obviously have not had my objection overcome. Do you see the difference? People's houses are burning down. Have you seen the stats in America? We are the sickest, over-medicated, overweight nation on the planet. People's houses are on fire. I firmly believe that. It's why I'm confident when I say, listen, figure out how to give up the fried chicken one night a week so that you can afford investing in your health. I say it a little nicer than that, but I'm telling you, that's the belief and confidence that I have. And that's what you have to develop. Okay. So it is 11:22. We have 23 minutes for questions. Questions can be about objections. Questions can be about something else. But that is what this time is for. Oh, hang on. I see one in the chat. Have you ever gotten an objection where they order, but are already taking something else and tell you that they're going to finish this other brand before opening the box? What perspective can I offer? I mean, I think did they order because of a sale? Is that what made them order right then? That's why I hate sales. Yeah, it was a sale. This is why I hate sales. Hate sales. Matt B, tell whoever you can tell, hate sales. I mean, it's just, it's comes with the territory. I mean, what I would do is say, hey, listen, instead of doing that, what if you were to pause what you're doing, give this a fair 90 to 120 days? That will still be there. You can pick it back up. But if that were working like you hoped, you would have never entertained the idea of this. So what if we try that? I'm not a salesman when it comes to the business. Yeah, that's a very common one. I'm not a salesperson. That's probably one of the most common. I'm not a salesperson. I don't have a network. I'm an introvert. Those never change, ever. And there's a million training videos on how to overcome it. But basically, what I would say to that is, Michelle, listen, I understand how you feel. I felt the same way. I was a 4th grade school teacher. Like when someone was sharing this business with me, I remember telling her, I talk to 9-year-olds all day. Like I don't have a network. The only network I have is their parents. And most of the time they don't like me. So I don't have a network either. I don't know how to sell anything to anybody. But what I found is selling something is a simple set of skills. It's simply sharing what you're excited about. So in the same way that I can share about a new boutique that's opened up or a new movie or a new restaurant, I can share this. I don't feel the pressure to be a salesperson. I feel the pressure to be a share person, because if someone wasn't willing to share with me about these products, I would still be battling A, B, C, and D. If I could show you a very simple system for how we share with others, would you be open to taking a closer look? She's believing she does not sell. She is not a salesperson. I'm telling her it's a simple set of skills, and I'm offering to give her a simple system. If that were the case, and I could teach you how to be a salesperson, would you be open? I'm checking for overcoming. Most of the time, that's not their actual objection. Most of the time, it's I fear what people are going to think about me. And so when you check for overcoming and they say, well, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. A system would be nice, but I still think I just need to get my own results first. That means I don't believe in what I'm doing yet. Help me love your products, or help me figure out how I can share while I'm working on loving my products. So I don't usually believe that when somebody says I'm not a salesperson. That's a lie. It's also not, most of the time, I don't have time is also not their actual objection. Sometimes it is.
Can I say something about the results?
Yep.
Objection.
Yep.
That is probably my favorite one. And I just flip the script on people when they say, I need my own results first. And I actually say, you know what? This is another reason why I think that you'd be fantastic at this. Because basically what you're saying is that you're a person of integrity. Like you need to believe in what you're talking about. And I love that about you. Like I was exactly the same way. And so I would encourage you to learn about the products, like read testimonies. And if, it's kind of like being the real estate agent and you take them through that analogy, you don't need to know, you don't have to live in every house before you know it's a good house for someone else. And that's what I was able to do, and I've been able to help a ton of people. So when you can flip the script, especially about the results, they're like, oh, wow, you're right. And then of course you have to overcome it, but it changes their viewpoint, and you're affirming another reason why that they would be good at this.
100%. And I'll even say, sometimes I'll say, I do the real estate analogy too, or I'll say, it's interesting that you say that, because what I have found is people never ask me what my results have been on these products. I have a great help testimony, and here we are, you and I on the phone, getting you off to a solid start. And it's a very good likelihood you don't know what these products have done for me, because you didn't really care. You cared. Could I help you? Could you trust me? Did I like you? Those are the things you cared about. And that's exactly what your people will care about. They don't generally care what the products have done for you. They want to know, do you think they can help me? And I'm telling you, if their issues are related to gut health and blood sugar balance, the answer would be yes. So, I mean, yeah, what you're saying is you need belief in the products. And what if I'm telling you sharing with other people could be part of you building your belief? Because when your sister gets results on what she struggled with her whole life, imagine what that does for your belief. All right, what else? Going once. Going twice. All right. I will give you guys your 15 minutes back and we will see you back here next week. I think next week is is next week the last one, Michelle? Oh no, are we doing one on the 28th in the year?
What do y'all want?
I'm
cannot
actually going to
be
do
on.
a goal setting call that night, a team wide goal setting call for 2024. So what we might do is give you back your goal call during the day that day. Use that time to reflect on 2023, whether you've been here a minute or you're new, and then join the team wide goal setting call to 28. So next week will be our last one. And then we'll have a game plan for what January is going to look like. There's some cool team things rolling out. So we may or may not need this call, but what Michelle and I would love is feedback. If this call specifically is the most valuable use of this hour every week, would you go drop some takeaways in the chat and just, I mean, we're both open to the idea of continuing. We also always evaluate, is what we're doing the best use of everyone's time? Is it the most valuable? So we are bringing back book club in January on Thursday nights. If you're new here, you haven't been around, book club is something we've always done. We are bringing it back in January, which I'm super duper pumped about. We'll post the title and all that. So there are a couple of changes moving into 2024, but I think Michelle and I are both open to feedback. So if y'all can drop that in the Growing for Gold chat, I would appreciate that so much.
I have a quick question before you hang up.
Okay.
I had 2 new silvers last month. Well, one was a level 2 that I treat as a level 1. So it was
Awesome.
3. So I did not even, I don't know where my brain was, but I did not think to add them in this call. And so now that we only have 1 left, would it just be better to just maybe share with them the recordings and say, hey, over the next few weeks, kind of watch these, and then we're going to start something new in February, or January? How would you do that?
I think and Michelle's going to have more knowledge because she knows the team, but for new people, I would keep them so laser focused. So if what they're battling is objections, then obviously share this. I wouldn't make them go watch this just because it came up next in the rotation. This is where you're going to have to dig in and figure out, okay, what were the topics on the calls? What's the most relevant? Is training what they need, or is practice what they need?
Okay.
So I don't really know the answer to that. And once Michelle and I figure out what we want to cover next week might just be vision and belief for the new year. So that would be something that even though they've not been a part of it, we could still invite them to it. So let her and I put our heads together on what we want to cover next week. And then we'll kind of.
Okay. And it's funny because I didn't want to say it when we were talking businessy stuff because it was so not related, but Carrie put it in the chat. I totally noticed your makeup today and it's fantastic. You look great.
I really should probably put myself together more often.
What makeup are you wearing? I love
It's
it.
the same one I always wear. I just don't ever wear it. So
well, what is it? Do you use a certain brand?
I use Lancome. I don't know. I'm telling you, it's the same thing as always it is. It will never change because I don't know what I'm doing when I do my makeup ever, but I'll send a picture.
Well, it looks great. So anyway, thanks for your time today and all the good stuff, all good nuggets.
All right, guys. See y'all.
Remy Rose has been trying to tell you hey for 5 minutes.
Remy.
Okay, tell her hey now. She can hear you now. Say hey, Miss Christina.
Remy.
In the house. Are you in your house?
I am in my house.
See,
I'm
I
gonna
told
go to Tegan's school soon and see her do her play.
See, that'll be fun. You know, you watch too many Christina videos when your child is 2. I'm like, Christina, Christina. I was like, yes, it's Miss Christina.
It's me.
Hey.
Jessica, can I please just say that she makes my day, and so do you when you post the videos of her blessing her food. Oh my goodness.
Look, the things that people have taught me in Plexus, they're like, you don't know why people follow you, but that is literally one of the reasons why people follow me.
So sweet. Yep.
It's like having a puppy, but better.
Yep. For sure.
Bye now. Say bye bye.
All right. Bye, y'all.